are listening to Real Estate Insiders Radio, featuring successful real estate insiders, influencers, and trendsetters sharing proven tips and strategies to help you navigate the complex world of real estate right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Felecia Phillips Curtis. Today's show is sponsored by ProsperTour.com, your go-to partner for real estate investment solutions. Connect at ProsperTour.com today, and you too will prosper when you buy or sell your investment property. Welcome to the show. You are in store for an exciting interview today. I have the pleasure of introducing to you a person that is fondly referred to as the People Conductor. And when I say conductor, I'm referring to, for instance, the conductor of a train, if you can get the imagery. His name is Tom Black. Tom, the People Conductor Black, helps new and experienced wholesalers like myself find, evaluate, negotiate contracts. He helps you with assigning and closing those investment deals. He is a resource for investors. He is also a real estate agent. He has been an agent since 2004, so he has plenty of experience in the game of real estate. Became an associate broker and a full-time investor back in 2009. Mr. Black has successfully settled at least 260 transactions, and those transactions are quite broad. There are things that a lot of us dare to touch, to be honest with you. We're talking short sales here, foreclosures, inherited properties, for sale by owners, seller financing deals, lease options. He has completely rehabbed properties, wholesale deals, you name it. Welcome to the show, Mr. Tom, People Conductor Black.
Well, thank you so much for that. That was probably the best introduction I've ever heard in my 50 years on Earth, but it's good to be here with you.
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine, and trust me, the pleasure will be the listeners once we get into this, because it is a pleasure for me as a wholesaler, and I'm sure there are other wholesalers out there who will be extremely grateful to have come across you and what you have to offer during today's show. So, guys, please stay tuned. Tell me, now, you have been in real estate for quite some time. You started out as a realtor, now going into the segment of being an investor for quite some time now. And from what I understand, you have helped numerous people, and you're closing deals yourself every month. Well, who would you describe as your perfect prospect, Tom?
Well, that's anyone in real estate that needs some tips, advice, suggestions, and just different ways to improve their business. Now, I focus primarily on new and experienced wholesalers because, I've closed transactions with probably 70 or 80 wholesalers in my career, numerous real estate agents. So I always tend to paint the big picture. So anytime I do get into a relationship with someone that's new or experienced, I want to tell them, kind of broadly what I've done, what I've accomplished, and the network I have available to them, not only with just closing deals with me, but private lenders and contractors and vendor contacts I've made over that time since 2004. So they basically get the whole shooting match by, working together.
Wow. Now, wait a minute. My antenna just went up. Did you say you have access to private lenders? That is a happy set of words for wholesalers,
Yes, and many wholesalers want to graduate into rehabbing, and what they don't realize is they can make it a little easier on themselves by simply starting to close enough deals to have the 20% down that most lenders require on a good investment property, So within a few months of doing the business successfully in wholesaling, they can get into rehabbing themselves because, a lot of the rehabbers that I know, what they're doing with their marketing is they try and wholesale the house for a week, and if not, they rehab it. And it's kind of a great business model. And then there's something also called a delayed rehab, where I'm selling properties to investors that cash flow them with tenants in an area that's got some value and equity already. And then later down the road, they finish renovating the property and they sell it for a retail price.
You know what? I think I'm curious. I think we should take a couple minutes to just talk about the resources that are in your arsenal. I mean, back from 2004 as a realtor and becoming an associate broker a few years later and that sort of thing, you have got to have quite a broad arsenal available that you can offer to new and experienced wholesalers.
I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what's in that arsenal? If you don't mind my asking.
No, I don't mind asking at all. I mean, I have a cash buyers database where I can find active cash buyers in any zip code in America. I have private lenders locally, regionally, and some nationally. I have numerous title attorneys and those kind of things that can structure things, transactions. Obviously, that's the key to the whole thing, is making sure you treat your title company like gold, as well as the buyer and the seller. So we just work to streamline the process as much as we can on that. But, we have 1,700 cash buyers in our local market. I have 4,983 Facebook friends. Many of them are investors and real estate agents. So when I post something personally and or in Facebook groups, a lot of people are contacting the People Conductor because that's a brand that I promote. But I'm just looking to share all of it. And here's what I'm doing, and if I could just take a quick turn.
Absolutely.
When someone starts working with me, that unlike other mentoring and coaching programs, I don't want to teach them how to do it. As I teach them how to do it, we're doing it together. So we're actually getting on the phone and we're contacting, negotiating with seller leads at the same time. And unlike other programs, you have to set aside that time, maybe get a 30-minute phone call once a week or every other week. And no offense, they work and they're effective. But I really love negotiating. So I want anyone that comes to my circle, I just need them to help me open more doors, if I could use that analogy. Can they Can they do some direct mail also? Can they do some driving for dollars? And can they be contacting sellers on different online seller sites? All the biggies, Zillow, Craigslist. So anyway, that's just kind of where I wanted to go with that, and with the marketing. And I definitely want to get to talking to you about Facebook marketing soon.
Absolutely. Well, what I think is not coming across, guys, is I have spent a couple of minutes on the phone with Tom, the People Conductor, and what has amazed me most is his humanity. It's about, for him, more than just the things that we are sharing right now. Of course, we are talking about all of the wonderful things in his arsenal and his expertise since 2004, extremely valuable, but his spirit and his value of people and being a servant and a helper and doing that with great humility is just incomparable. He's one of my first guests that I have met that I've spent some time with, who basically talks about his value of finding out how to help the people and tailoring his arsenal and his expertise around how it can be of benefit to the people, and of course, it benefits him as well. And I am most impressed by that. I just wanted to share that as a quick detour as well.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, back to the subject at hand, you did mention that you wanted to talk about Facebook marketing. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What do you do on Facebook exactly?
Well, let me give you a prime example. I've brought in 400 cash buyers into my Investor Carrot website since last April.
Wow.
And so in the last year, roughly, give or take one a day, from posting simply, we'll create a flyer of a property for sale, a couple of photos, and then we upload that into a Facebook real estate group. At the top of that, we'll put some information about the property, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, ARV, all that good stuff. And at the very bottom below that, we simply put these words, and if you want to write them down, you can write them down, but this works for me every day that I post on Facebook. But the words are simple. For more details on this and our other investment properties, please enter your contact information and specific buying criteria below. And then I put my link, which is peopleandpropertysolutions.com. And so they go on and they give their name and then their email, and they can fill out a buyer profile, and that's sent to me. And then there's an autoresponder that introduces us. And then we get on the phone and we talk to them about their business model. And now those new people that are coming in every day, I'm dividing and sharing them with all of my student partners that come on board. I'm immediately building their buyers list. I want to do deals with them with that buyer, but that buyer's theirs.
Now, because is this a paid ad?
No.
Wow.
No.
Amazing.
So you got to understand, a lot of Facebook groups that I do this in, some people want to do deals with me as well, or I've co-wholesale deals or sold deals and wholesale deals in other states. So I can certainly get to that later, but that's just a process that has served me well.
That is amazing. That is amazing, and that is obviously a tip for the listeners, and just one example of the type of knowledge and use of tools that are available to all of us that Tom has at his fingertips and knows how to use effectively. And it sounds so simple, and I did write it down because I'd like to give it a shot. And I appreciate that tip. I tell you, we are talking to Tom Black, the People Conductor, here on Real Estate Insiders Radio. I'm Felecia Phillips Curtis. What were you about to say, Tom?
I would just want to share some more tips, if I could.
Go right ahead. Please do.
Okay. One of the things that I do is I'll use direct mail, and when I get a property under contract, I'll create a flyer for the property and a nice cover letter that simply asks the seller, the homeowner I'm mailing to, if they'd be interested in selling their property or possibly buying the property deal that I include in the envelope. So I put a cover letter, I put my deal flyer in the envelope, and I mail it to everyone on the street where I have the deal and neighboring streets as well.
Wow. Now that's new. That is new and exciting marketing strategy, Tom.
I have one. If you would let me share it, Felecia, I have one that's better than that.
Oh, wow. Wait, I hear the same marketing strategies over and over and over again. And it is uncommon for me to say this is new. You got something better? What?
Yeah.
As the kids say, what?
Yeah.
Please share. Please do share.
All right. Well, the biggest challenge that we have when we lead generate is that we don't necessarily have a follow-up system for those sellers that we really hit it off with. We just couldn't come to an agreement. But we spend a lot of time with those people too. The deals we don't make, we probably spend more time on the deals, obviously, we don't make than the ones we do, because it's a numbers game, right?
Good point.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. You mail a thank you with your business card magnet to the sellers who say no.
What? What have you gotten from that?
The response has been tremendous. It's not necessarily. I've had people just call me and thank me for thanking them. And to be frank with you, I haven't really turned anything into dollars and cents that has happened recently. But I have had someone who bought a postcard of mine for a year, and I closed the deal about, I don't know, that one was probably about 2 years ago. But it has happened.
Well, and if they do change their mind, they have your information. And I would also think with such a kind gesture, if they learn from a neighbor or someone that they would like to sell their investment property as is, you're certainly the first person they're going to think of.
Exactly. And that's the whole goal. And then you have to think about it. It's like, all right, what's going to cost me to do it? I think the cost is really low, and you get one deal out of that. And then the other side of the coin is, I believe the thank you is, all right, well, you know what? The deal doesn't work for me, but, my friend Joe's got a house for sale. Call Joe. These situations happen. Can I share with you probably the biggest challenge that all investors have when it comes to marketing?
Tell me.
Well, to stay connected to your business, it requires consistent daily action, and we all know that life gets in the way from time to time. One of the things you can do to kind of combat that is, there's absentee owners, there's inherited property lists, whatever you want to mail to. But if you did nothing at all today in your business, and you mailed out 5 letters or 10 letters as you walk out the door, subconsciously, you worked on your company. Right. And the biggest thing is that we'll work hard for 2 or 3 or 4 days, then life will get in the way, and maybe we still have a job, and we can't get to real estate investing. I do have the pleasure of I do have the pleasure of doing it full time, but for those who don't, if you just mail 5 letters a day, your business is going to grow, because subconsciously you're creating the visions and the action and the results necessary, or the steps necessary to see results. Even if it's a slower process, we all like, okay, you got to do mass mailing. I've mailed 40 letters and gotten 10 calls before.
Wow!
But if you mail no letters, you'll get no calls. I promise.
That is definitely a reality. That is definitely real. So what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, is one of our biggest challenges with marketing is inconsistency. Absolutely,
100%. Yep.
Inconsistency, just constantly. It's the important takeaway there is that every day, even if it's just 4 or 5 letters, do something in your marketing in order to ensure that you're getting some type of return, because you're not going to get a return unless you make the investment consistently.
Right. Gotcha. And again, if your budget allows, you can hook up with a mailing house. I've got a friend of mine, Shane Foster. He's a wholesaler in Pittsburgh. He's actually created a mail house, and he does great work with, getting out yellow letters and postcards and that kind of thing. And his rates are fantastic. So when your budget allows, you want to maybe step up and go ahead and make sure you're getting out maybe 500 pieces a week when you have the ability to handle the traffic and the results as far as live call center or whatever you decide.
Right, right. Now, would you say that direct mail is one of the top most responsive ways to bring in some leads?
Well, I still think that direct mail is one of the most effective ways. I don't even know if I can classify the best, because I've seen social media. Social media has just been incredibly powerful. I'm on the call because of Facebook.
Wow,
so,
amazing.
You know, amazing. Rick Munster reached out to me and told me about you, and here we are. So,
wow, amazing.
And more people are going to Facebook to communicate sometimes than email, and then mobile marketing really is the rage right now. So there's a company called callfire.com, and that is mobile marketing, and you just enter, you know, all of your cash buyers' phone numbers, and when you get a deal, you send out a link, and they get your deal, and they can check out on the spot, and 95 to 99% of texts are being read and responded to.
That is incredible. Wow.
That's where you want to go. If there's anything that I'm giving you today, is you want to tap into modern technology as best you can.
Right, right. Well, you know, the challenge is getting all those phone numbers. You know, because for instance, I have a cash buyer database, but it's mostly addresses, physical addresses where I do direct mails to. But you know, some have phone numbers, but most of them don't.
Well, that's why I said my piece about the Facebook ads that I post.
Yeah.
When they fill out their profile, they give me their name, phone, you know, their name, their email, their phone number, their buying criteria, you know, when to get in touch with them, if they're willing to lend their own money. You know, it's pretty detailed. You know, if you go to peopleandpropertysolutions.com, you can fill it out yourself, Felecia, and it'll take you through.
Absolutely, and our listeners should do the same thing. And I tell you what, you have thrown out so many tidbits during today's show. I feel like we could charge for listening.
Yeah,
it is amazing. It is amazing, Tom. You really you are doing some things that indicate you are supposed to be here today. You are definitely a real estate insider who is thinking outside of the box. Tom, the People Conductor, Black. He is he's basically connecting with folks who are already on the train. They're already working in the area of real estate as a wholesaler, either just starting or has been doing it for years now, but want to save time by having a conductor get them to their destination faster than what they could ever do on their own. And as you listen to the tips that Mr. Black is sharing today, you have just a sneak peek of what value he brings to the lives of his clients. Amazing stuff. And I don't say that casually. It's rare that I can say that there is something out of the box for marketing. I actually have a degree in that area, and I tend to have at least a basic knowledge, because it's been a while since I've been out of school, I must admit. However, I tend to think that what I'm hearing from most consultants, coaches, is pretty standard, and it appears that everyone is saying pretty much the same thing. And if you're going to pay to connect with someone to take you to the next level, you do want to do something that others are not doing. And that's what I'm hearing from you today, Tom.
Well, I've learned some great lessons from people who are smarter than I am, and there's a couple of sayings that I wanted to share with you. But the first one I want to share with you, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a different room. And I try and digest, surround myself with other people, and that's another thing, too, is that the people in my experience now, the student partners I work with, you know, they add to my life in many ways. And I tell them that. I'm like, I'm grateful to have you here. Thank you for investing in me. I appreciate the money. That's awesome. But let's close deals.
Right. That's the humility that I was referring to, folks. That is the real deal there. Tom, I really, really admire your people skills and how you value the connections. That is very admirable. I can't say that enough. Now, we know that wholesalers, we have our challenges. Wholesalers have challenges just like anyone else in the industry. What would you say are the 2 to 3 problems, real or perceived, that you solve for the wholesalers that you're working with?
What do I say to a seller is probably the biggest one. I alleviate and eliminate that challenge. And so, what I basically do, and if I could share with you, we're doing a lot more texting, and we're texting sellers. And so can I give you an example of how we do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So in short, when we find an online seller, a lot of us are not answering phone calls from numbers we don't recognize. It's just the way it is. Time is precious. Everyone's texting because it takes 2 seconds. And so that being said, text messages are being responded to. So we're texting the seller, and let's say we find 123 Elm Street. We go to the tax record, look up the name, because this is kind of like a little thing that sets you above other people. And then we text and we say, hi, Mr. Black, I'm contacting you about 123 Elm Street. Is it still available? ? And then they text or call back, and then the new or experienced student partner has 5 easy questions to ask them. And once they ask the 5 easy questions, then I jump in. So can I share the questions with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm sure our audience would appreciate that as well.
Okay, outstanding. Well, the first question is simple. Is it available? Even though we see ads online, sometimes they're sold. So that's obviously, you don't want to waste your time or theirs. So that's a silly question. But, almost every time the answer is yes, but just in case. Question 2, what are you trying to get for it? And if any of you are familiar with neuro-linguistic programming, what we're basically trying to do is just create a little doubt in their mind that the seller is asking a fair price. Okay? So literally these words you want to say, what are you trying to get for it, Mr. Smith? Okay? And the third one is, can you tell me about the house? And most sellers, they want to tell their story, but before I even get into to all of that, before I get any further, I'm going to tell you how I introduce myself when we get to after the 5th question, okay? So, can you tell me about the house? They're getting into beds and baths and this and that, and you know how they go. And then you ask, follow-up question, hey, is there any repairs, significant repairs that needs, what have you. And you get as much information as you can. But one of the favorite questions I ask, which is not one of the 5, but I ask it, and it's outside the box. Mr. Smith, do you have any idea what it takes to make your house one of the nicest on the block? In repairs. Now the answer is probably almost always, or half the time at least, I have no idea. And then the other half the time, they want to downplay what they think that number is. Okay, but they're at least giving one. So sometimes, it could really provide valuable information. But the 4th question is, what's the best offer you've received so far?
Good.
That's what I call a having confidence question. That's a bold question.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes.
But if you've positioned yourself, and we talk, Tony Robbins talks about a lot about positioning, posture, certainty. Okay, so when two people walk into a room, the dynamic always is that one is more certain and more dominant. Always, 100% of the time. It's just the natural course of things. So if you ask that with conviction and confidence, it's a great question to ask. If you can't ask that question, ask, have you had any offers? Fourth question, have you had any offers? Oh, what was the best one? Another question that makes sense because you need to know where they are and where they won't go. So they say. Okay, so they say. But anyway, question 5. Question 5 is the easiest question. When would be a good time for my partner and I to follow up with you with a few more questions? Now, what I've done, I have helped the student partner find the seller, open the door, and then I come in with them and close it.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. They're laying the groundwork.
Right. And so if there's one thing that I can share and we can talk about sellers real quick, is how I introduce myself.
I'd love
or
to
how
hear it.
anyone or how anyone really should introduce themselves. Because the biggest thing is that you must establish instant credibility and set yourself above any other investor or any other caller that they receive. And the easiest way to do that is tell them who you are, what you do, and how it will benefit them right off the bat. So what I do when I introduce myself is I just tell them my mini bio. I've been a real estate agent since 2004, full-time investor since 2009. I've closed roughly 260 transactions of all kinds. We typically are looking for properties that we can rehab and resell or hold as rentals. And when we talk to people like you, Mr. Smith, what we're trying to figure out is the best option available that we can provide to you to help get what you want. And just so you understand, and I want to be really transparent with you, I'm certainly in the business to make a profit, but at the end of the day, it's got to be good for you and it's got to be good for me. Is that fair?
And that's being transparent.
And from there, I have found, and I talked a little bit about gifts with you before. We all have individual talents. Some people can sing. Some people are great with musical instruments, artists, what have you. And my wife and I joke. I believe my mouth and the way I deliver have valuable information that I have a finely tuned instrument. I believe I have a finely tuned instrument, and I really want to play for everyone. We'd talked many times in our lives about, you're just not talking to the right people. You're not making money because you're not doing commercial, or you're not making this call, or you're not marketing to this lead. And now I just want to share everything that I've learned with as many people as I can while I'm still here, because I think it has merit and value. And the cost of entry is nominal, and the relationship building is the fun part for me. Not only with them, but not only with the student partner, but building relationships with sellers.
And honestly, Tom, that is your gift, and you will be able to help others who don't have that gift fine-tune that area of their lives. But not everyone has that gift. So when you don't have a particular gift, it's important that you connect with folks who have strengths in areas where you're weak. So, it adds value for those of us who have a similar gifting in our lives, and for those of us who don't. Either way, it's just good to have that type of mentorship and learning. So that is, Because, I mean, even just your questions and the way you introduce yourself, that has so much power and authority. And a lot of times when you are new as an investor, you have to build that. And if you have someone who has that, it's amazing how transferable that sometimes can be as well, the more they pour into you, if that makes sense.
Yes, certainly.
So you're basically, that is your magic. That's your magic. That's your expert ability, the negotiations part.
And I would take it one step further than that. I really got to give credit where credit's due. My wife is very much my muse and my inspiration behind all of this, Sherry Black. And, you know, she woke up inspired and told me about the People Conductor, you know, several years ago. And, you know, I kind of sat on it as a great idea. And now I'm branding myself. And as I develop and mature and I work on the man in the mirror, I've determined my purpose after 50 years. And my purpose is simply to elevate, motivate, and educate people in my unique way. And at the moment, that way is wholesaling and real estate.
Well, you know, that's another twist on this is that might be a lesson that we need to listen. Guys, listen to your wives.
Well,
listen. When you have someone in your life who knows you inside and out and who has your best interest in mind and who have been given insight as to who you are and what you were created to be, and they speak into you, that might be a real good time to pay attention.
Right.
What were you saying, Tom?
Oh, I was just going to take that one step further, quite frankly.
Oh, please do.
Okay. There's been times throughout the course of my real estate career, my wife's stomach was sick in the room with people I was going to do business with.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And a couple of times she had said, hey, you know, I don't know if this is a good idea. Oh, no, honey, it'll work out fine. You know, we're going to be making money, and blah, blah, blah. We have a new rule in my house. If my wife's stomach is uneasy in the presence of another person, I will not do business with them in any capacity.
Sweet.
End of story. End of story.
Wow.
Women, and I'm gonna go on a spiritual tip for a second with you real quick. The female, the women of the universe are more connected to it and what it delivers. And if I could say, you know, we do talk about women's intuition. It's not just a statement; it's a statement of fact. And those internal feelings are more fine-tuned than men, because sometimes, you know, women are oftentimes a little more nurturing, and we're out hunting and gathering. We just don't feel sometimes. And to really be excited about, you know, paying attention, like I said, and, you know, I just now the course of everything I do is improved because I'm open-minded, and that's really the bottom line of what I'm saying.
Wow. That is powerful. And for those of you who are just tuning in, we are speaking today with Tom, the People Conductor Black, an amazing real estate insider who is there basically to offer his gift to wholesalers, new and old, or beginning and advanced, who would like to have a conductor take them where they want to go faster than they could ever go on their own. If time is of essence, you may want to wait until the end of the show. We're almost wrapping it up so that you can get Tom Black's information, because he is the person who can take you there. This is the People Conductor for sure. You can tell from what you've heard already. Now, Tom, before we wrap up, what would you say, is there any reason that someone or a person that you can help most decides not to connect with you? Is there, I'm trying to think, is there any reason that
Well, I think that I talk a lot about introspection and working on the man in the mirror. And, the thing that you have to ask yourself is that if you're ready to make a change and you are going to commit to change, then we should get involved and connected. But if you like living in your comfort zone, that's okay too. I still love you where you are, and maybe you're not ready. So we talk about time commitment, and really, I'm not looking for a student partner to help me find and close real estate deals and spend all of their time, right off the bat if they have full-time commitment. But the more time you can commit, the better we're going to both, the sooner we'll all benefit. And so that's really it. If someone there's really no reason that I can think of that they wouldn't get value, from each other as much as some of the tips and tricks and things that I've learned over the years that work.
Now tell me, are you a music person? I love music, and I'm going to another place now before we wrap up. I just to get to know you a little bit more personally. Are you motivated by music at all? Is there a song that you listen to at the start of your day that gets you pumped up so that you can make these calls to the leads?
What motivates you? Yeah. I love music of all kinds, but I love to talk. It's obvious I'm talking quite a bit, but, for me, joy and flow is finding out who I need to follow up with today, what title company I need to talk to, what buyer or seller or student partner needs me, and, what I'm doing now is planning out my day and taking emails at 11 and 4. I mean, we could literally sit in front of our computers and react all day to life, and you can't do that. So I'm just working to figure out ways to take my life back, and ultimately I want to train my student partners to become junior mentors and then ultimately mentors. And so I can step out of the negotiation process, and now I'm duplicating myself, and I'll probably have the membership website available next week. But we're going to be doing training modules on a lot of what I've talked about in 1 and 2 and 3 minute snippets.
Nice.
And then the ability to follow up with us, email, phone call, what have you.
Well, do you ever have days, though, Tom, when you're just dragging, it's like, oh, gosh, I just don't even feel like getting going today. Life threw you some type of curveball or, for whatever reason. In situations like that, what motivates you?
Well, one of the things that I've done from time to time, which is really, really silly, and I love it, and it works, Tony Robbins talks about changing your state, okay? So sometimes I'll be, shaving or getting ready or drinking coffee or whatever, and I'm feeling that way. And I just stand up and just start yelling.
Okay.
And you can do this. You've got this. Don't worry about it. Stop stressing or whatever it might be. And then try and change that state because your mind is so powerful. You can control it. The thing is we don't take the time to do that. And, one of the things that a good friend of mine is doing is meditating. And I really want to take the time to maybe slow it down and for 5 or 10 minutes every morning, just be quiet. No music, no phones, no Facebook. Just set everything down, turn everything off, and turn your head off and listen.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. I'd love, before I end each show, to make sure that as each of us is trying to get where our guests are going or have already arrived at, that we know that there will sometimes be a day or just an hour where we need to pick ourselves up. And different things work for different people, and we have to find our own picker-upper. But it's always good to hear what's working for folks like you, Tom. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
How do we learn more about you? How do we connect with you if we do want to have a conversation, if we want to partner with you? Where do we go and how do we connect?
Well, I'm going to make it really easy, a couple easy steps. If you are an investor, cash buyer, and you just want to get connected, you can enter your contact information and buying criteria or just what your investment goals are for the future at peopleandpropertysolutions.com, www.peopleandpropertysolutions.com. And if you have a deal or a property to sell, you can go to sell your house, the number 4, cash, the number 2, DAY. Sell your house for cash today.com. And then I can give you my email address and my cell number for sure. Email's very easy, peopleconductor@gmail.com. Conductor ends in an OR. peopleconductor@gmail.com. And, text is always best because I tend to get things going from time to time, so not always quick to answer. Unless we got a deal cooking, then I'll answer the phone right away. Anyway, it's 443-521-3424. Let me say that again. It's 443-521-3424. And I actually live on the Maryland-Delaware line, but I do a lot of business in the Baltimore, D.C. metro area.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, this has been an extreme pleasure. I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for joining us on Real Estate Insiders Radio. Thank you so much for being the not only professional, but the human being that you are. And I applaud you, and I applaud your wife as well for where you are today. That is an unusual way for me to end the show, but I can say just from what you have shared that you value her involvement in shaping where you have come or have arrived at, and I want to honor that as well. Thank you again.
Well, yeah, you're quite welcome. And life is truly about relationships. The money, the things, the houses, the toys, that's all noise. You're on earth, and I'm going to leave you with this, and I think this is the best thing that I could leave you with. And one of my mentors is the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he's got some great YouTube videos. But Dr. Wayne Dyer said, "We are on earth for one reason, one purpose, and that's to love and be loved."
What a wonderful way to close. And I, too, am a listener of and supporter of the messages of Dr. Wayne Dyer. Amazing, amazing human being. Final words from Tom, the People Conductor Black. I'm Felecia Phillips Curtis, your host, the voice for insider information on the exclusive world of real estate. We'd like to thank Prospertour.com for sponsoring today's show. Now you know where to go when you want to prosper in real estate. You can call 800-5-SOUTH, that's SOUTH1, or text 678-499-2575. Until next time, enjoy your day.
This has been another episode of Real Estate Insiders Radio. To hear all episodes featuring our handpicked real estate insiders, visit us online at realestateinsidersradio.com.